Hey guys, welcome to Production Music Live. My name is Francois. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the progressive house style of Tinlicker. And lately, I've been listening to a set by these artists recorded at Above and Beyond Group Therapy in Prague, 2019. And after listening to the set, I kind of wanted to figure out how to make a bunch of tracks from that set because they're mainly playing their own productions. And so first of all, I wanted to take a look at a track called Fractals or Fractal. And it's right here in the beginning. This is my kind of remake only using Ableton stock effects, and Serum. And so on. And here in the back, we have a slightly altered version, different harmonies, different melodies, but kind of the same instruments. And let's take a look. We have a fully arranged track here with a drums group, with an instruments group, and in between we have a few other tracks, another group for effect sounds, for example, and also some bass sounds and some kicks and toms right here. And you can see it's 5.5 minutes long, roughly. It's a fully arranged track with an intro section, with a build-up part, with a first main part, a break part in the middle, then building it back up into a drop right here. And then there's an outro here. So let's take a look at the single elements. Going to the front here, we have our kick with a nice and subby kick, 4 to the floor pattern, combined with a tom in the offbeat of the 4th position here. And then we play our bass sound with Serum. And we're playing G minor, E flat, C right here. And that starts making a lot of sense when we are looking at our main melody, which is playing G minor, G root note, B flat, our 3rd, and D, our 5th. So super stable melody, and our chord changes are now being introduced by the change of bass notes. It's one of those tracks where the bass note will actually make the melody or the chord. So let's take a look at the single sounds in here. First of all, taking a look at our lead sound, which is done with Serum, with our basic mini shape here. That one always sounds nice and kind of analogish. And then we're running that through the MG Low 18 filter. Let's play it solo. And that one is controlled by envelope number 2, and you can see it's opening up according to 4 milliseconds of attack and 600 milliseconds of decay and 80% sustain. Oscillator B is actually not playing here, and no effects. So this is a super easy patch. But then there's a little bit of processing going on, and let's focus on the most important things here. And the most important processing elements here are our delay, reverb, auto filter, and then this dry wet selector for an overdrive. First, I made the sound with Valhalla Shimmer, but I wanted to make it Ableton only here, effect-wise, so I'm placing 2 reverbs on top. So this is more or less what we're getting out of Serum. And then we're putting the auto filter on top in the OSR setting here and adding 7 decibels of drive to it, beefing it up. Then some delay on top 4 to 6 delay here. And then a pretty long reverb with a decay time of 7 seconds. And then drive it up to 40%. Let's actually play it with the kick. And then later in the track, sometimes there are parts where I want this sound to cut through a bit more. And that's where I have this dry-wet selector. It's actually a chain allowing you to take something like the overdrive from our audio effects. Where is it? Here. And kind of control how much you want to put in. So that's how you can make it cut through the mix at times. And then on top of it, there's another reverb, another almost 9 seconds reverb. That's the one adding a lot of shimmer and paddiness to the sound. So that thing kind of acts like a lead pad in one sound. Okay, and let's take a look at our bass sound quickly. It's done with Serum as well. Basic mini shape here. And if I'm soloing the bass, we can see envelope number 2 controlling the MG Low 18 filter here. And we have 162 milliseconds of attack on this sound with this smooth intro. Other than... So what was it? 164, 62, something like that. Oh yeah, and we are also running this through an auto filter with the drive applied, because otherwise this is really helping us make it sound much more analog, kind of, or like an Arturia Mini or something like that, or a Diva. Actually, it's always a good idea to take your sidechain compressor with a bit higher attack here. And then those clicks are gone. Okay, what else do we have? We have this late kick. Copy this one over. This one is just answering the tom in this position here. So if we play it all together. And you can see some of these elements are supposed to be sidechained to our, well, you can decide. Sometimes it makes sense to sidechain your bass to this tom element. So you make sure this tom element actually cuts through even if a long sustained bass is playing. So we could put in another sidechain compressor here, duplicate this one, and pick the audio input from our tom element here. And then whenever that tom is playing, we're going down a bit with this bass. So it's easier for this tom to cut through the bass. And let's zoom out a little and take a look at our hi-hats and effects group here. First of all, we have a clap sound here. That one is layered out of a bunch of claps to achieve this sound. Nice, short and clear. And then this one is a trick I use in pretty much all of those EDM-ish tracks, I use this pre-kick zap. You might have seen it in another video I did here on YouTube. It does these little zaps at the end right before the kick. And that makes your kick feel a bit more snappy. Let's exaggerate the effect a little. So that's super helpful at times. It's kind of an artifact, but it makes your kick sound a bit smoother. We have a hi-hat effect here. What's that? You see, this is a overly processed sample with overdrive here and snores and a couple of things. You could actually use all kinds of sounds as input for something like this, and then, you know, put on overdrive, put on some erosion in this setting in this case, and then cut all those frequencies off, maybe in the lows and in the highs, the ones you don't want to use. And we have this pattern here. And then what's this hi-hat here? Let's take a look at this one. Oh yeah, it's just playing this off position here. Okay, let's look at more groove elements. Let's actually copy all of them in here at once and then go through one by one. We have a shaker here. Two shakers playing this pattern. Take a look at the velocities down here. Lower velocity, a bit higher in the middle, and for those two actually, and then another lower velocity here. And we have a little bit of swing applied here. MPC 16 swing 58. That's a nice and comfortable one. If we are taking the timing off, and you could also introduce some randomness to the sound as well. Maybe a lower value here. So that's our shaker from the Deep Premium Volume 2 sample pack, a couple of shakers. And below we have another shaker. Doing the same thing. And let's play them together. Yeah, this one always sounds a bit more natural if you put in this type of tambourine sound. And let's play it actually together with kick, bass, a tom and deep kick and clap and everything. We already have a nice groove going, and let's just fill up our loop with some offbeat hi-hats, with longer offbeat ones and shorter ones. And so we are kind of distributing a couple of those over our you know, stereo spectrum, one to the right, one to the left here. So this one. I actually copied this one from my one sample track Ableton project. It's a hi-hat made out of a kick, but it kind of sounds cool. And I think I'm using the same sample again somewhere, maybe here. I don't know. Well, I thought it was somewhere, but okay. So we have another pretty natural sounding offbeat hi-hat here. This one mixed a bit with left and right panorama, and this one here a bit more to the left, and this one here a bit more to the right. So we are kind of filling up our hi-hat loop here. Okay, and then we have a couple of short hi-hats in here as well. and these are rather playing 16th notes apart from this first one here. Oh yeah, that's the other one, made out of a kick sample as well, and a lot of chorus on top, and then some send reverb, where it's actually our return channel reverb long. That's where we are sending this into. 5 seconds. So this will also give our hi-hat space a bit of room with that reverb on top. And then we have this one here. Again, MPC swing on top, and this one is more EQ to the sides, whereas this one was more to the center. So we're trying to kind of mix and match more organic sounding and more electronic sounding ones, and then distribute them over the panorama, and also kind of give some of them a bit more room, so we have a nice roomy drumming feeling here. Let's quickly just activate all of this stuff. Okay, so there's our nice little groove, and now we have a few more important elements down here. First of all, we have this please pizza thing, which is kind of typical for Tinlicker. They always throw a sound like this in there, something that might, you know, pluck in the beginning and then just play the root note of your chord progression. A little bit of delay applied on that sound. The sound here is really not that important. Could be also, you know, a pluck made out of a saw wave or something. And then we use the same sound we used for our main lead in Serum, and we are using it for this lower lead, which kind of comes in here after 2 bars. Quickly looking into the patch, we again have our basic mini shape here, and it's the same sound we have here, but we are using only one reverb this time with a long decay time to hide this one really in the background. And then there's a filter on top of it as well. Opening up, so we can also have an opened up version here. Oh, by the way, this is a nice way of keeping your progression interesting, even if you're playing only 8 bars of chords. For example, the first 2 bars we're playing G minor, and then we're playing E flat here, and then C, passing chord F, and then back to G. And then the next time we are playing the beginning 2 are the same, but then we have C and we play it 1 octave higher, and then we go back to E flat already, which is the second chord here as well. And so it's almost the same thing, but it kind of feels like you have a longer progression and more is happening basically to your chord progression. Okay, on top we are playing this high pad here with our root note, typical for house music, G again, and let's take a look into it. So this is just to fill up our frequency range in the top frequencies, this one here as well. Sound doesn't really matter, just make sure it's a long stringy sound and cut some low frequencies from it. And this one here is more airy. And again, we're cutting a lot of lows here, and the sound won't matter that much. Just make sure there's a little bit of white noise in your sound and it kind of moves, so it's not too static. Okay, and then let's actually take a look at these chords here, because later in the track at some points we're actually putting them in as well, but we don't need them all the time. So if we are analyzing it quickly, what do we have here? Okay, let's open up Serum quickly. Again, basic MIDI, but this time with 4 voices in the unison here, and a saw wave on top, 1 voice. No effects here in Serum. We are cutting the lows here in Ableton. Another one of those filters on top, you see it's kind of the same sound as the lead sound and the bass sound, with the PRD and 7 decibels, and then sidechain. Simple as that. And let's take a look at the progression here. So we have G, B flat, and D is not playing. If we were playing D, that's G minor. But we are only playing the 3rd here. And our 2nd chord has E flat as root note. I'm bringing this up and I'm taking G down. You can easily see it's a major chord. 3 semitones in between, 2 semitones in between. This is E flat major. Let's undo this quickly. Okay, and then we have C down here, and B flat, D, and G. Let's bring up C. And we have a 2nd here with D, or we put it up. And then it's a 9th. And we have our 5th here. So a power chord, we don't really have the 3rd for the quality of the chord. So it's kind of a C 9th chord, but we're missing the 3rd. And it's voiced different. Okay, and in the 2nd turn, we are finishing off with E flat here. Let's bring down G. And this is a typical 7th chord voiced differently. It's the E flat major 7th chord, but we're playing G up an octave. Okay, so this is our progression here, quite interesting, especially because we have a nice variation in our break part later here. We are taking a look at our chords. Let's do that quickly as well. Okay, so here we have a nice Dorian feel in the middle. Let's kind of quickly play it all together. And a nice transition back into G minor. So in this part, we are playing basically, what is this? We have, let's bring up G quickly. Well, it's already there. Let's bring up E. So if we just look at this upper part here, we have C, E, G. That's C major. Added 2 with D. and voiced differently because a G is voiced down and E is voiced down as well. And then we're playing C major added to with root note E. So let's undo this. What a nice chord. And then we have. And what is this one down here? Let's bring up the E flat, an octave. We have a major third here, a minor third, a major third. So this is a 7th chord. And it sounds like one, and on top you're playing A. And from this E flat major 7th chord here, we can nicely transition back into G minor. So these are our chords played here, and let's quickly zoom out a little and take an overview. Oh, there's another very typical element for Tinlicker. They kind of use these vocal shots a lot. So let's quickly copy over this yeah vocal. This one is just, I recorded this the other day with Alex. I asked him to quickly sing into the microphone, and this was our raw edit here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And yeah, we kind of wanted to have this attacky feeling on the yeah in the beginning, so he kind of tried to push that through here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he also sang a bunch of other things.
It's a Monday morning, yeah.
Which we didn't end up using. But so I kind of cut one of those years and placed it right into simpler here, and then added a little bit of compression on it. Low cuts. Yeah, let's quickly take a look at the element without anything applied.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite heavy compression on top and low cut here.
Yeah.
And then delay.
Yeah.
A quick one here in the repitch mode, then some erosion on top. Is that even working?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, totally exaggerating that one. And then a reverb on top, 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And another delay, 3 to 6 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's for this left to right panorama effect. And then auto pan to have the whole thing moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then auto filter to bring it in and bring it out. For example, in the break part of our track, we are taking it down a little. Okay, and then in the effects group, we have a bunch of risers, impacts, and reverse crashes and white noise. The usual impacts at the beginning of the drop or at the end of the break. And basically, these are our main elements of this track. Okay, there we go. This is our first video from the Tinlicker series. They have a really nice style. It's kind of combining the old trance style with some contemporary melodic house style, which works really great for, you know, playing live, but also for listening on Spotify and everything. And we covered all these single elements right here, like the most important ones. And now we are going to play this full track here at the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this little style tutorial. Feel free to comment below, leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Also visit our website, productionmusiclive.com, our website supporting this channel, giving us the ability to put out videos like this. Also feel free to check the link in the description for our new sound pack in this style for start to finish courses for melodic house, for example, and progressive house. And for harmony courses, if you're interested in learning more about harmony and chord progressions, or sound design courses as well. And I hope to see you next time. So let's play the track.